So this is my new head for the Ca95 1963 Honda Baby Dream. This is the old head. I need to get these brass bushings out and I need to put them into this head. The rocker arms ride on these shafts which go into these brass bushings, and they're in great shape. I want to get them out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat it up and I'm going to push them out. And the way I'm going to push them out after I get it hot is I'm just going to use a socket that is the right size. I'm going to set it on top of there. I'm going to drive it out into the interior of the head, and I'll be able to reach in there and pull them out. So that's my theory. Let's see if it works. I'm going to heat the head up around that brass bushing and try to drive it out. Let's see what happens. Oh, the bushing is really tight, so I'm going to try to heat the aluminum to loosen it up. Let's get this sucker fired up. There we go. It doesn't like being inside of the head there. So, I heated up the head and the sleeves came right out. Go right in these holes. And they go right down. I'll get a little socket to set on top of there and tap them in. There you go, the sleeves dropped right in. So that's nice, one step down. Guess next step is going to be getting the valves in. So I'm lapping the valves here. And these exhaust valves, they lapped in really nicely. They have a nice surface. They match up on the head beautifully. Now, I then went after this, which was on the intake side of the old head that I took apart. And I slide this in here. Look how far this valve goes down. It goes down below the seat. That's down below the valve seat. And there's no way that's correct. This valve is just way too small. Now, I know that before I tell you that, I stuck it in the old head, and it was the same thing in the old head. It was really deep down in that old head. Whereas it's just way down in there. There's no way that's correct. There's just no way. It's not even on the seat. Now, this engine had a tremendous amount of wear on it. I mean, down in the bottom when I was working on it, I replaced all the bearings. Just across the board, there's been a tremendous amount of wear. This is an old bike, a 1963, and I found it in a field behind a commercial egg ranch, believe it or not. Buddy of mine was working there. He got it for me and gave it to me. I thought, neat, an old Honda Baby Dream. Well, I'm $75 into this head, plus, like $20 shipping. There's $100, and I got to look it online. I can buy a set of valves for $30. I'm gonna do it. If this thing cost me $1,000 now, there's nothing could stop me. It can't beat me, this little bike. God knows what else I'm gonna find. There was, missing sleeves over here. This stuff was missing. Somebody had been in here and they just didn't care to do it correctly. So I'm stuck with this thing, but I'm committed, man. I'm pretty far down the road. We haven't even got to the frame and the fenders and all that stuff's jacked up, but we're gonna play with that and have some fun. I just really want to get the motorcycle running well. I want to have a good, solid running little bike, and I'll be happy with that. But I guess I get what I paid for, which was I paid nothing. So I'm going to order a new set of valves. I tried to look online and see just how much smaller these were. There's one guy who shows a picture of the head in a forum, and it looks like the valves are setting way far out. They're not buried down in the head like this. And so I'm going to order a new set of valves. I'm going to compare these to that. And I'm at another impasse, so it's probably going to be another week and a half before I do anything on this. This little engine, I could have easily, if everything was good, I could have been through it in a weekend. I mean, I'm like 5 weeks into this thing now, and mostly that's waiting for parts, gaskets and bearings, and talking to machinists and all of that stuff. But yeehaw, we're gonna make this thing run, and it is an experiment in patience and what can be wrong. And frankly, the last thing I'll say about this, the way this valve is buried down in there, if it was running, it wasn't running very well because there's no, it's so far down there, it's past the surface that you seat the valve to. It's way down here below it. So if it was running, it wasn't running very well. Um, there's no way. Anyway, we're going to find out. So I'm going to go ahead and post this, and we can all wait for the valves.